Been a long time since I've talked about Cardi B. As a matter of fact, I think the last time I talked about Cardi B was probably 2 years ago. And I vaguely remember what it was about, but I don't remember exactly what it was on. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. Not that it really matters in this case, but it is what it is. But this video is not necessarily about her, but it does pertain to her. So Cardi B did an interview with Rolling Stone magazine, and I would actually pull some stuff from the interview, but you know, Rolling Stone, they got that subscription thing, and the only way you can read it is if you are subscribed to them. I'm not getting no subscription to no Rolling Stone. I don't care about them that much to get a subscription, especially since Rolling Stone been on shaky ground, especially with black people for a while now, ever since they came out with that crappy list was it last year or a couple years ago, about like the top musicians or artists or whatever like that. And it was like really shaky on some of them numbers, among some other things that they put out there too that we didn't sit right with us. But they did an interview with her, and they were talking about a multitude of different things like her career, her family life, her kids, and politics. But it was one thing that was taken away in an excerpt for her from the political side, mainly because I know it's an election year, so that's the part they're going to pull, and they feel like that's the part that's going to get a lot of attention when they post it up on their X account, which it did. So as you can see, it says Rolling Stone. It says at I am Cardi B tells Rolling Stone she won't be voting in this year's election, and she's quoted as saying, "I don't F with both of y'all," and she's talking about Trump and Biden. Now you remember a couple years ago, well, not maybe back 4 years ago, during the election, Biden was sitting down with Cardi B, and that literally made us side eye the whole thing. Like, why is Cardi B sitting down with a person running for president? Like, since when is her political stance taken on anything? And on top of that, why are you talking to a woman who is Dominican? And you know they always try to do that black and brown thing, and they feel, oh, because she's a rapper, oh, then that means she just has to be black by default. No, we was like, no, we shut that down immediately when we saw what it was. And truthfully, it didn't even look natural. It looked like they just called her up and said, we'll pay you this amount of money to dress you up, look professional, and pretend like you know what you're talking about. Like, you can just go back there and look at it and tell that that was not her thing. If you notice her, how she is, that's how that just wasn't her. And we haven't seen that side of her since. And now this is where she's at right now. She's basically saying neither one of them really speak to her. And honestly, she's in that neutral zone. Like, you know, like neither one speaks to me. I don't know what her stance on policy is. It really doesn't matter. The thing is, she just said that she doesn't mess with either one of them. I'm sure in that interview she probably goes into detail as to why, but like I said, I'm not getting no subscriptions, so we're just going to leave it right there. But what's very interesting is y'all can see that post that was reposted by a man named Derek Johnson right at the top. Now, he is the current president and CEO of the NAACP, in which he put up this rather pathetic post in response to this, where he said, at I am Cardi B, let's talk about it. Your voice matters. Let's stop right there. So you want to reach out to a celebrity that literally, you know, a celebrity, let's just leave it right there, practically begging her to come back because they feel like, oh, we're losing her. Let's just talk about it, because what they're scared of is that she might change her mind and then shift to the other side with Trump. See, that's the thing with both sides. You're either going to have the people that's going to say, oh, I'm glad that you're on this side, or I'm glad you're on this side, or I hate that you're on this side, or I hate you're on this side. But what they really don't like is when people say, I'm on neither side. That's when they start to panic a little bit, like this Derek Johnson is sounding right now. Instead of reaching out to someone on a grassroots level, you want to reach out to a celebrity like Cardi B. Like, really let that sink in. And we know what side you're trying to sway her on. You're trying to swing her to the Biden side. Like, let's be real here. The NAACP, as far as we know, don't rock with Trump at all. So we know which side you're trying to sway her on. But it goes on to say, and our communities have to look beyond the presidential race. So now they're trying to do the Jedi mind trick thing and say, oh, it's bigger than just the presidential race. They'll tell you that, but really that's what it boils down to. They're just going to tell you that. Then he says, I invite you to speak with the NAACP on how we can use all our collective power this November to elect everything from mayors to school board members. Like I said, you are reaching out to a celebrity for this. You aren't reaching out to anybody else and Cardi B of all people. So it took for her to say, I don't mess with any one of them, to say, for you to say, oh, let me go ahead and reach out to you because voting matters. Now, from what I have read in the thread, based on people who did see the interview, who might be subscribed to Rolling Stone, according to what I saw, it didn't say anything about in her interview or the part where she was talking about politics, where she says, don't vote. She just said she's not voting for the people running for president. She says she's not rocking with Biden or Trump. She didn't say anything about local elections like your mayors and your governors and people like that. She didn't say just don't vote at all. She just said I don't rock with Biden or Trump. But this Derek Johnson took that, what she said, and it sounds like to me he may not have even read the interview and just took it as, oh, we need to find a way to pull her back in. And he said your voice matters. Like, really hone in on that. They feel like Cardi B saying I don't rock with Trump or Biden, they feel like they're losing a voice on their side. Like they have to rely on a celebrity in order to send them over. Remember what they did with the Vax That Thing Up, or the no voting, no bucking. And what was that other one with, no, that was Juvenile with the Vax That Thing Up. And it was something else that they did, some ridiculous thing, or maybe it was those two. Maybe, I feel like it was a third one. That was an insult. Where was the NAACP then to say how insulting that was? Oh, that's right. They weren't nowhere to be found because they were probably too busy vaxing that thing up and doing the no voting, no bucking, whatever that's supposed to be. See, if y'all watch my series of videos that I've done as far as like the Sundown series and the Black Massacre series in particular, the NAACP gets mentioned in quite a few of those. If you listen to the tone of how the NAACP was back in the day, they are a far cry from the NAACP of today. The NAACP back then actually worked for black people. Like they were there. Like they helped black people a lot in a lot of ways and on a grassroots level. But somewhere along the way, and I don't know in what era, they started to pivot and turn into whatever you see in that's encompassing in this tweet by Derek Johnson. They literally, it's almost like they let fame go to their head. And now, you know what? I think I know what it was. When they started having the Image Awards. It could be probably after that. I'm not entirely sure. But it seems like when it started to get more entertainment based, when they became more mainstream and became more entertainment more than anything, that's when it started to shift. Much like how BET is like now. Even though BET is, black entertainment television, but even at a grassroots level on BET, they still had programming out there that was geared towards black people. I couldn't tell you what BET is supposed to be for right now ever since it got purchased by Viacom. And even when it got first purchased by Viacom back in the day, it took a while before the shift in the pivot to what it is now started to happen. It wasn't like, oh, a blink today and open your eyes tomorrow, and then it turned into this. But the fact that this guy, the president of the NAACP, is practically groveling, because that's what it sounds like. It sounds like he's practically groveling and begging this woman, who's not even black, by the way, doesn't even claim to be black. She's Dominican. So she has no obligation to do whatever it is this Derek Johnson is begging her to do. And honestly, I hope she turns it down. I hope she just ignores it. I hope she doesn't even go. And I can't tell her whether or not she should or she shouldn't, because at the end of the day, she's a grown woman and she's way above my pay grade. She can do what she wants, but I hope that she doesn't do it. Just to kind of slam the door in their face and like, I can't be bought or I can't be swayed to do whatever it is you want me to do. But I just think it's very interesting how this Derek Johnson just reached out to her the way that they did after she said she doesn't mess with Trump or Biden, but she didn't say anything about not voting at all. That's from what I've read. It sounds to me like she's saying just focus on local elections. which a lot of people say you should focus on anyway. Because as far as the national election goes with the presidents, they already have that locked up. As far as I'm concerned, they probably already know who's going to win anyway. But that's just my extraterrestrial mind, just playing right now. But this is just sad. This is really sad that you, as a black man, the president of the NAACP, whether no matter how y'all feel about it or their stance on it and what have you, this is what it's come to. But also, I'm not surprised, because remember a couple years ago that anti-black former Clippers owner Donald Sterling was supposed to get some kind of special award from the NAACP. Y'all remember that? He was supposed to get some kind of a special award that same year, but he got exposed literally like about 2 weeks before he was supposed to get it, so they scrapped it. Imagine, they was about to award an anti-black person at an award ceremony that's supposed to be celebrating black people. Talk about almost dropping the ball. Imagine how embarrassing that would have been had that stuff came out about him after he had got that award. And it was a big award too. It wasn't like some like low level award, like, you know, that they give out to the other people that are there. This is like one of those special awards that you have to achieve and earn for years, almost like a lifetime achievement, not lifetime achievement, but on that level. So yeah, this is just sad. This is pathetic on his part and on the NAACP, especially since he's the president. He's the face. Many of y'all probably even know who this guy was, but you know about him now. But no, this does not sit right with me at all. I think the thing that got me the most is the fact that, again, he reached out to a woman who isn't even black. Oh, man, has Cardi B has she ever even attended the Image Awards? Has she ever even been nominated? I don't know. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out there to see. Because that's a question I need answered. I want that question answered. But that's how she feels about it. And this Derek Johnson is practically begging on his hands and knees, almost praying and hoping that she comes back and quote unquote comes to her senses. Because you know, whenever people say something like that, especially black people, somehow we've lost our minds. And man, you better, in a way, I'm kind of glad that the wet yam Martin did not get a hold of this, because I could only imagine the crap he would have said, because you know he has nothing but contempt and vitriol for black people that don't swing to the left or do the whole vote blue no matter who thing. But man, I can't wait to see what y'all got to say about this down in the comments. And here I am thinking that I was done with the video, and then this popped up like literally the next day after I was done, where you have this individual by the name of Keith Boykin who put out this video after she said what she said in that Rolling Stone interview about her not voting. And I'm not playing the audio with what he said. Y'all can just see the video as it scrolls along, because really it's a bunch of babble. It's a bunch of shill babble. And I said in reply, I said first the NAACP and now this dude. And I'm just sitting here questioning, just like I did in the first part of the video when I was talking about the president of the NAACP. Why is it that y'all want so bad for Cardi B to not say what she said as far as pertaining to her not voting for either side? Like, she said what she said. And again, like I said, when you are in a neutral position, which it sounds like she's in, then that's when they really start to lambaste you and try to convince you to go to a particular side. But they'll try to word it in a way of, oh, we don't care who you vote for, but they really do care. Like, if this woman was to flat out say, you know what, I'm gonna go and vote for Trump, the tone would be very different than what she said. And it's like she has her own mind. She makes her own decision. If she doesn't want to vote for either one of the people, she gave her reasonings as to why. Like I said, she didn't say to not vote for either one of them, but she was talking about more on a local level. But they keep treating it like, you know, we got to do one or the other, and it's crazy. And like I said, this woman is Dominican, and so now you have not one but two black men who are trying to convince her that she's making the wrong mistake. And what it really boils down to is because she has a big platform. So they feel like, oh, if Cardi B says Cardi B isn't voting, then that means that the rest of her followers are going to do a hive mind thing and not vote as well. no, that's not how this works. I'm sure her followers have the same mindset, not the same mindset, but a mind of their own, and will decide if they're going to vote or not, or who whether they're going to choose to vote for. But the thing is, they keep relying on these celebrities, and they're like, man, if we lose Cardi B, who else are we going to lose? And y'all rely so much on this woman, and it's just blowing my mind when I'm seeing right now. I didn't know that she held that much weight. Apparently, I must have been living under a boulder sized rock, because apparently I didn't know that Cardi B saying that she wasn't voting in this election for either one of them for her reasons given was going to affect or sway how this election moved. I didn't know she had all of that power, but apparently I must have been asleep at the wheel, and others must have been asleep at the wheel as well.